Fate, it seems, is not without a sense of irony.
Oh, Lee.
Football.
Can't escape this bullshit.
ESPN, the global leader in sports.
Welcome to the PoP Fantasy Football Playoffs Round 1 recap brought to you by PanelsOnPages.com. I'm Jason Nyes, representing I'm Adult Kelly. And joining me this week, representing the Brooklyn Dark Knights, we've got PoP Fantasy Football Commissioner Tito Cruz.
After the week he's had, I think we should just give Nyes the belt.
I will take a pity belt. Representing Tell 'em Kelly Eats Band-Aids, PoP Fantasy Football Kerouac Commissioner Dan Mahoney.
You know what? I am completely fine with that. Cancel the second round of the playoffs. Nyes gets the belt.
And representing Cammed If You Do, Cammed If You Don't, the 2019 PoP Fantasy Football Champion, Jose Guzman.
Michael Thomas is back home.
I thought for sure he was going to be like, fuck that, give me the belt.
I'm not walking shit over there. You gotta come get it.
What on earth made you pick up Michael Thomas just to stash on your IR?
Just to fuck with you.
You're so strange.
Just for you.
Nothing.
He's injured.
Nothing
Yeah,
matters.
but he was on my team
To start.
last year. He was on my championship team.
Who
So-
remembers that?
If I do. That's why I picked him up. So if he's out there, I'm going to pick him up so that he ends the season on my team. I'm going to tell him it's going to be all right, and we're going to go into next year stronger, maybe even together.
Okay, maybe.
Who knows?
I mean,
didn't
after
pick him
the
up
year
off
he had
waiver
this year,
wire.
you'll probably be able to get him next year.
Well, we're doing keepers on waiver wires, right?
Mahoney, didn't you pick up Cam at one point to fuck with Jose?
Yes, he
Well,
did.
yeah, I did, but that was Cam was actually going to play. Like, I didn't pick up an injured guy to put on my IR.
Oh no, don't worry. I picked up Cam too.
I saw you've picked up like every quarterback. I don't know what you're doing.
You know what, Jose? I think it worked. I'm just going to go out on a limb.
I had to make your head spin one more time before the season was over.
I clicked into your roster at some point today, and I was like, "What the hell? He's got 4 quarterbacks. His IR is full of people. Like, what is he doing?"
Well, it's been a long 4 months, population, but we're finally here. 2020 is letting out its last gasps as we enter the closing week of PoP Fantasy Football. As a whole, this season has been a wild ride, and the first round of the playoffs was no exception. That being said, let's quit wasting any more time and throw it to Mahoney, who has the round 1 scoreboard.
It's bullshit. Sorry. I was editorializing. I'm sorry.
I thought that was just added to the sounder.
Yeah, I figured that was the new. I was like, "Oh, I like it." Nice.
Sometimes you can't tell with these sounders if it's real life or a sounder.
Yep, got to keep you on your
Hard to
toes.
know. All right, we had 2 championship matches last week. We had Mel and Tito, and we had Matt and Nyes. We had 2 hosts in the championship playing for the belt. Both of you lost. Both of you eliminated.
Yeah.
Mel beat Tito 123 to 102.5. And then Matt beat Nyes 97.5 to 88. That's a rough week, 88.
Yeah,
Been
well,
there.
I would like to speak for my team if I can for a moment. On Saturday night, I had Corey Davis in my lineup at my wide receiver 2. I had T.Y. Hilton as my flex, and I had Gronk on my bench. I looked at Gronk's record the past few weeks, and it's been kind of low. You know, there was the bye last week. I think he only got 6 points. I felt like it's time for a Gronk week, and also Also, I've based my entire season on my fucking Buccaneers connection. My Brady, Mike Davis, Gronk three-way. So I said, fuck it. Like, let's go. Let's do this. So
Not the three-way you wanted.
So yeah, so I moved Ty, who's been killing it for the past few weeks on my bench. 20 points every week. Moved Ty to wide receiver. Put Corey Davis on my bench, and put in Rob Gronkowski. And of course, Corey Davis on my bench, 19 points. Which, for the past 3 weeks, let's look. Okay. All right. Last week, Corey Davis got me 2.5 points. But the week before that, he got 29.5. So he wasn't such on a downward turn. But to go from 2.5 to 19, that sucks. So if I had kept Corey Davis in my lineup, I would have won. But, however, let me say this. I ran with my Bucks all season. There's no way I wasn't going to go into the playoffs with my Bucks. And also,
Absolutely.
Let's look at the rest of my team, including my bench. Let's look at my studs. Tom Brady, 27 points. Mike Evans, 14 points. I think I called him Mike Davis earlier. Cowboys defense I picked up 10 points. Pretty good. I was worried that my defense was going to be my issue. It was going to come down to my defense.
That's wild that Dallas got you 10 points because they've been the defense to like whatever offense is playing against Dallas is what you play.
And
Dallas's defense kind of turned it around the second half.
They got like 3 fumble recoveries and a touchdown, I think.
Yeah.
There was the last play that San Francisco got a touchdown that brought me down from 16 points to 10. But still, it was like, thank you, Cowboys defense. And then on my bench, Corey Davis with 19. Everyone else, single digits. Kenyon Drake, 4 points. Mike Davis, 6 points. T.Y. Hilton, 9 points. T.Y., who I was counting on. Tanyan even underperformed. Projected for 8.9, got 8.5. Butker, who I can count on every week, 6 points. And lo and behold, Christian fucking McCaffrey couldn't make it to the game again.
Broke his dick. They broke his dick again.
Yeah. So I'm not going to make any excuses. I was taking Corey Davis out one way or the other. And honestly, I don't want to win it with a fucking technicality by putting one player in, especially with how terrible the rest of my team played. I did not deserve this win. So congratulations, Shark. But you're going to have to score more than 97 points to win the championship.
Yeah. I don't like the chances against Mel with 97 points. You're going to need to do a little better than that. And there's some confusion. We'll see. But they're saying that they're going to rest James Robinson. That's his name, right?
The running back from Jacksonville, correct?
James Robinson. Yes. James Robinson's also a comic book writer, so I was like, I'm not sure if that's a comic book writer or a football player.
Is he writing Starman or is he the starter?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I was like, what name did I just pull? But anyways, there was a tweet today that they were going to rest him this week, but then they were like, no, we're just resting him in practice. We're going to play him in the game.
Mm-hmm.
We're just resting him in practice. But it's like, are you going to play him in the game, or are you just fucking with the other team? Like,
I mean, Jacksonville has nothing to play for.
Yeah, seriously.
But okay, actually, they do have something to play for. If they lose out, they get the number 1 pick.
Yeah. They don't want to win.
That's the bet. That's more reason to rest them. They're like, the stud that's killing it. There's our only chance of winning. Let's put him on the bench.
Absolutely, because the Jets went ahead and got themselves a win, like a bunch of dummies. So now they're out of running.
What a dipshit! They got that defensive coach fired for nothing.
Yeah,
he did his job. You guys fired him, and then now here you guys go getting a win.
That's what I said last week. I said the only person on the team who did the right thing was the defensive coach who let them score that touchdown. Like, how are you gonna fire him?
Well, and the cornerback who fell for a fucking double move on the last play of the game when they needed a touchdown, which is fucking idiotic.
Did he fall for the double move, or was he paid by the coach to look the opposite way?
He was just following the code red.
Because that was 2 plays in a row he fell for it.
Jesus.
Well, Tito, what do you got to say for yourself for this week?
Fuck Russell Wilson. That's what I'm gonna say. So,
Oh man, 13 points. I didn't even see
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
so if I'm gonna pull up Russell's scores for the season. Week 1, 38, 42, 46, 24, 29,
Oof.
35, 36, 25, 9. That was my dud week where I scored for like 40 something points against Nice. 23, 16, 16, 30, 13.
Ugh.
Oof.
That's why I lost.
But the fucking Seahawks still won.
Yeah.
20 to 15.
Yeah.
What game that was?
But you know one thing Nye said, and I'll say the same thing, and I liked what Nye said, is that you go in with the horses that got you there.
Right.
Yeah.
Nice's Bucks got him there, so he rode those horses. So my big confusion at the end of going into this game was whether to start James Conner or not, because he was questionable. It was a Monday night game. I put in Marquise Brown. Good move on my part, even though I did pick up Benny Snell, and he scored 17.5 points. But it was a question of who I was going to start at the flex. So I kind of went with Marquise Brown there, and I made the good call there.
Yeah.
Edwards
12 points out of Hollywood Brown is pretty good because he's only ever gotten me like 6. Like
Well,
every
yeah.
time for 2 seasons now, I'll put him in my lineup, and when I have him on my bench, he does great. When I have him in my lineup, he does terrible.
Yeah, Edwards-Helaire he got hurt towards that game, and he only scored me 7.5. But out of when you win 32-29, I kind of expected a little more out of him from there as well.
Yeah. Going back to what Tito said about, going with the team that brought you there, like, I would much rather lose by not starting Corey Davis than lose by not starting Gronk and Gronk going off for 25 points. That would have broken my damn heart.
You had such an on and off relationship with him all year.
Yeah, I mean
You kind of had to go with him.
Yeah.
yeah, you picked Gronk up, and all of us were like, nah, that's a bad idea. Like, don't get Gronk. And then Gronk did great for you, so it makes sense to roll with him.
Yeah, it was
Yeah, but
hot
didn't
and
you
cold.
draft Gronk and then you dropped Gronk and then you picked him back up?
No, I did not.
Okay, I thought you drafted him.
I
too.
think Kelly?
Somebody drafted him.
I think Kelly drafted him. Kelly drafted him because we were telling him to.
Oh,
pick up
okay,
the
yeah,
big
he
dummy.
picked up his big dummy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then I think we laughed him off of Kelly's. Like we were like, Kelly, what are you thinking? Get rid of
Yeah, we
Gronk.
laughed him right off of Kelly's team.
And then Kelly dropped him, and Nyes was like, I'm getting Gronk. And we were like, what are you thinking? Get rid of Gronk. I even remember at one point Nyes saying something about like, well, I would do this trade, but I don't know who I would drop. And I was like, fucking Gronk. Like, what do you mean you don't know who you would drop? But he worked
Turns
out.
out we were all wrong.
Yeah.
And Mel
All
got
right.
that appearing on the Fantasy Football Show bump last week, so good for him.
Dude, 123 for Mel.
Yeah, if you tell me going into our game that Aaron Rodgers scores 19 points, I say I win.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. 27.5 out of David Montgomery. 24.5 out of
That's
DeAndre
what got
Hopkins.
you. That's
Yeah.
what got. Yeah, but Hopkins has been doing that. Montgomery has not been doing that
He's come on.
consistently all season.
He's come on strong the
late.
last 4 weeks or something like that. Since he came back from his injury.
Yeah, so has Mel. No coincidence, I'm sure.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, let's briefly touch on the games that didn't matter. There was Tad and Jose. Tad beat Jose 116.5 to 89. 89 with 31 points out of Herbert.
I was on a 5-game winning streak when there was 2 games left to get that push to the 4th spot. And the 4th spot was mine to lose. And I fucking lost it because the last 3 weeks, my team barely scored anything.
Yeah.
I don't know. Just they all took a shit.
Yeah.
Wild.
Sometimes that just is what it is.
You don't
I honestly have no idea who your second highest scorer is. L. Thomas, and I've never heard of that person in my life.
Logan Thomas.
What does he do? What team does he play for?
Tight end for the
Tight end.
Washington team.
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
I was gonna say the R word. I'm sorry.
Tight end for the Washington racial slurs.
Speaking of, I don't like it when they call them the football team. Just call them Washington.
Yeah.
It's so weird. Like, I get that it's the Washington football team. Okay, but you're Washington. You're not the football team.
Yeah.
It's dumb.
It's very bizarre.
Rant over.
So,
All right, and our other game that didn't have any implications is Mary and Vetter. And Vetter, who had been just losing his way all over town, came through with 138 points to Mary's 109.5. So, way to make it happen when it doesn't count anymore, Vetter.
Buffalo Bills making it into the playoffs for the first time since, what was it, 1995?
Yep.
Woo.
Yeah.
So it's such a big thing that they're actually trying to come up with a way to let fans in the stadium.
Yeah, because the Buffalo Bills fans are like maniacs. They jump on tables and break shit in parking lot. Like, they're maniacs. So they haven't been in the playoffs for like 15 years. They can finally go to the playoffs, and no fans are allowed to attend.
Nobody's allowed to go. That's Buffalo's fucking luck right there.
Yep.
So they're like, you know what? Let them risk COVID. This is not going to happen again for another 25 years.
Yeah.
They finally win the Super Bowl to just an empty stadium.
There's nothing more Buffalo than that. Absolutely wild. All right, and our nerve-wracking games. The four of us who are at risk to win the Kerouac, which is our team's lowest spot, the last place team, is the Kerouac. There was me, there was Goat, there was Kelly, and there was Juan. And I got it done against Goat. I stomped the shit out of Goat.
You fucking did.
153.5.
Well, you were the highest scoring team of the week.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. I told you. I said it a bunch of times when I was 0-6, and people are like, "You're going to be in the Kerouac." And I was like, "I'll fucking see you there. You better hope you don't see me in the Kerouac, because I'm going to put up 153 points against you."
I'm going to drown you in a puddle.
Yeah, and I did it. So off Goat goes to the Kerouac, 88.5. That's a rough week. That was the second lowest. 88.5. 88, 88.5, and 89.
Yeah.
Was Nyes, Goat, and Jose.
Yep.
So I had the most of the least. Nice.
That's true.
I'll take it.
Okay. Now,
That's my new belt. Most of the least.
this last game is
Oh
the
my
most
God.
insane thing I've ever witnessed in my life. Fantasy football or otherwise.
Listen,
The most-
I've been playing this thing for 20 years. I've never seen anything like this.
Never.
This is nuts.
Never in my life have I seen anything happen like this. So, it's Kelly, it's Juan. Coming out of Sunday night, all the games play Thursday, Saturday, Sunday, all those games finish. Kelly has 107 points. All of his players have played. He's got 107 points. Juan, at that same moment in time, Sunday is over. Thursday night game's over. Saturday night game's over. The Sunday games are over. Juan has 107 points. Except terrible news for Kelly, because Juan has two players who haven't played yet. He has 107 points, the same as Kelly, but Tyler Boyd and Eric Ebron are on Juan's roster and have not played yet. They're playing in the Monday night game.
Hold
We're
on,
like,
hold
"Sucks,
on,
Kelly."
hold on one moment. I need to show this tweet from Juan from
Yep.
Monday morning, I believe it was. Monday morning, 32 days without a cigarette. Oh no, this is the wrong tweet.
No.
This is the wrong one. Let's see.
That's
Sorry,
31
sorry.
days. 31 days without a cigarette is the one you want.
Good for Juan for quitting smoking. Keep it up. Proud of you, but still got to. Yeah, here we go. Here we go. Here's the tweet. 31 days without a cigarette, a Bears victory, and I'm not going to be last place in my fantasy league.
No, you read that wrong.
Laser
Not
place.
going to be laser place.
Today deserves a special dark ray gif, and then a asterisk correction last place below that. So
Yep. So in comes Juan. He needs a half a point. He needs a single catch out of two players. He's got Tyler Boyd and Eric Ebron lined up to
And
play
there's
Monday night.
no way Tyler Boyd doesn't get one catch.
One
Yeah.
catch, half a point, he wins.
He wins. Tyler Boyd knocked out of the game in the second quarter with 0 points with a concussion. Out of the game. And I notice and I say, Kelly, Tyler Boyd's out of the game. And Kelly's like, oh, man, that's weird.
Kelly's like, who's Tyler Boyd?
Not even like 5 minutes later.
He's like, what wrestler is that?
Eric Ebron gets run over like he was dancing on the center logo before the game, just destroyed by 3 guys. He's waving to the sidelines, holding his back before he even hits the ground, and they cart him off the field. 0 points for Eric Ebron, and he's out of the game. Juan had 2 players in the Monday night game get knocked out of the game with injuries. They scored both of them 0 points. The game ends in a tie, 107-107, and Kelly, who has a 5-9 record to Juan's 4-10 record, finds himself safe and out of the Kerouac.
Insane.
Unreal,
Never
man.
seen anything like it.
Unreal.
2020 is wild, y'all.
The lesson here is don't dance if you have a losing record. Why are you bragging? Relax. Wait till all the games are over. Shut the fuck up.
Oh, man.
Why are you dancing on the center logo before the game gets played, and then you get popped and you fumble and you're out the game?
Yep.
Hmm.
Yep. It was unbelievable. And, like, we talk about Kelly's got Rodrigo Blankenship, and he keeps starting other kickers over him, and we're always like, why are you doing that? Why are you doing that? Well, Rodrigo Blankenship got 11 points, and Tyler Bass, who Kelly started, got 12. So if he hadn't done that, shit would have gone totally different.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. How wild.
Wow.
Kelly, you wild.
And we were at, it was a play by, I was ready for bed Monday night. Like, I didn't even turn on the Monday game, but I'm seeing all these updates. And I had a real one that day. And I was like, this is amazing. Kelly, you're gonna do it, Kelly. Do it for all of us. And he did.
I'm watching it unfold. I see Boyd go out, and I'm like, hey, wait a minute, isn't he on Juan's team? And I check, and he is, and I'm like, oh shit. And I'm like, Juan just lost one of his guys, but Ebron he'll catch a pass, like he'll get a half a point, no problem. And then a couple minutes later, Ebron's out of the game, and I'm frantically like searching Twitter. I'm like, show me the hit. What happened to him? Like, because like you get knocked down like that, you might be out of the game for like 10 minutes, but you might be back. I'm like, I need to see this, and I see that hit. I see that hit, and I'm like, oh, he's not coming back. He's not coming back. This is done. And so then Tito's asleep. Tito wakes up at the crack of dawn. So Tito's asleep, and all of us are like, how does this work? How does the scoring work? Like, where's the commissioner? Why is the commissioner?
I wake up to all these mentions. Where's Tito? Somebody wake up Tito. Get Tito.
Yeah, because at first I'm like, well, it looks like Juan has Kelly on points, so I think Juan wins. But that's because I was thinking wild card. I was thinking when we were all tied up, it was going to have to be points 4 that decided the tiebreaker. But no, Kelly got that one extra win from when he was 4-0 in the beginning of the season.
Oh, yeah. Remember that? Remember that great part of the season for him?
I don't know. I think the best game of his season was this one. You find yourself out of the Kerouac by what is clearly an act of God. You're feeling pretty good about yourself.
All right. Well, that is round 1 of the playoffs. Tito, let us take a look at the updated playoff brackets after round 1.
Well, the playoff brackets suck. That's what happens to the playoff brackets. No, so the championship game is all set up. You have Mel and his Jackie Daytona Human Bartenders going against Matt's Shelbyville Sharks. All right? So that's the one game that counts. That's the big game that counts. Then the other game that counts. Go all the way to the bottom there. Juan and a dying narwhal going against Goat's Turd Ferguson.
Goat and Lee's Turd Fergusons. Let's not forget. We made sure to let Lee know that his team is in the Kerouac. So, yeah, we might have to get Lee on the show next week.
Yeah.
I mean, depending on what happens.
Well, if he loses, I think we definitely get him on the show so he can hear his punishment.
Right.
Yeah. I gotta
He's
say,
gonna be
I
like,
was
"This is my
all
punishment."
I was all ready to punish Kelly. Like, I remember we had talked about how Kelly's team was scoring, like, over the last 4 weeks, they'd scored 80 points, like, in 3 of those 4. I was like, Kelly's gonna win the Kerouac, so I'm gonna line up Kelly's punishment. I was ready with Kelly's punishment. I had it all set, and then Kelly wins his way out. And now I gotta figure something out for Juan or for Goat.
Stick your hand in the toilet, Juan.
I hope your sister doesn't mind you taking over the toilet with your hand in there.
I'll just spend the whole day in there. If she's got to pee, just figure it out.
All right. Do we want to run through each of the round 2 games real quick and finish this up?
Let's do it.
All right.
Let's do it.
Let's
There's not much to talk about at this point in the season.
Yeah.
No.
All right.
All right. We got Mel and Matt lined up for the championship match. Mel right now is projected at 111.1. Matt's projected at 100.9. I think Matt's got all his players that he's going to roll with in there. And I'm sure Mel does. So things are looking to be in Mel's favor. And Mel has been coming on strong these past couple of weeks. So he's my favorite. He's my pick to win the championship. We'll see how it plays out.
Based on projections.
If his team shows up.
Who?
No, I'm saying if his team just shows up.
Oh, I thought you said 15, like you were calling a player by their number, and I was like, come on, Jose.
No. If his team shows up and puts up the points he's capable of, he should put up more than enough.
Yeah. Definitely by looking at the projections, I would go for Mel. However, I do like the idea of the man that beat me going on to win the championship. Also because Shark's having a real one lately. I don't want to say anything to blow up his spot, make any HIPAA violations or anything like that. He has posted about it in the Discord. But Shark's feeling a little under the weather right now. Wink, wink. So this might perk him up a little bit. No offense to Mel. Love Mel. Great dude. But
yeah,
I think Shark needs a Christmas miracle.
Shark's going to have himself a real problem if Robinson sits. So
yeah, I'm going to go with Mel right now. Rogers doesn't have he hasn't had 2 bad games in a row. Not that last week was a bad game, but I just see him coming up again. Montgomery's been on a roll. He put Gordon in his starting lineup, who had a good game last week, who had a couple of good games. Hopkins has been coming on. Ayuk has been doing some work for him.
And he's got Kittle, who I dropped. Remember I traded for Kittle and didn't even get anything out of him, and then I just dropped him. And he's got Kittle just chilling on his bench because it looks like he might play this week.
He might play this week.
That would be ridiculous.
He might play this week.
Still tagged as IR, but possible.
My other thing with going with Mel is because he has Montgomery and Hopkins, and I have both those guys in my other team, so I'm hoping they.
Oh, shush! There's no other leagues here. Something also interesting in this is this would be the rubber match between Mel and Matt because each one has one win over the other. They played week 1. Mel won 100.5 to 97.5, and then week 12, Shark won 121.5 to 107.5. Real interesting stuff.
There you go.
What do you think, Jose?
Interesting to see.
Fucking mix 107.5.
Jose loves to make like very specific, like 3-block radius references.
Is that an Orlando radio station?
Yeah. Yeah, it is.
But who knows? There might be a mix 107.5 in many other cities. So shout out to all of you.
Somebody's mixing all kinds of numbers somewhere.
Jose, did you give your pick between the two of these guys?
Yeah, I said if Mel's team shows up, he should have it.
Gotcha.
I think Mel's team, Mel has the right pieces going off at the right time of the year. He's got the right mix of players that are just gelling with their teams for whatever reason. The team's got players back being healthy. They're playing better as a team. Either way, his team seems to just be gelling. All of his individual players, their teams are gelling right now.
If I look at Matt's team, I like Breeze against Minnesota. I don't like Jacobs against Miami. I don't like
But-
Robinson against Chicago.
Breeze
don't
is
like-
one fucking shot from not playing the rest of the game.
I don't
It's
like
a dangerous
Woods.
pick.
Woods against Seattle, Slayton against Baltimore. Those matchups I don't like. The rest of the way, I do like what he has going there for him.
I really think that this match comes down to this Chicago-Jacksonville game because I don't think Jacksonville wants to win that game. So
No.
even if they start Robinson, I don't think
much
he's going
does
to
he
put
play?
up his normal numbers. I think they're gonna have him in and out. They're not going to let him play the whole game.
How
And
much
I
of
think
that second half does he see?
right. So I think that hurts Matt. And for Mel, he's got Montgomery over on the Bears. So I think the Bears are going to go up big, and Montgomery's just going to run. So
Yeah, I think
I
the
don't-
Bears are playing to win, so they're
Yep.
going for it.
yeah, and
And it's
the
always
Jaguars
good to
are playing to
have-
lose.
Like the big names are important when you're picking, but
Yeah.
again, we said it earlier. Those guys aren't usually the ones that win you the league. It's the guys you picked up late that get the playing time. They put up the numbers at the end of the season because they're usually on the teams that are playing. They're fighting for a spot,
Mm-hmm.
and those are the ones putting up the numbers in the playoffs.
Yep.
Good analysis. I like that.
Foosball.
So do we just want to jump right to the Kerouac and say fuck it with all
Yeah.
the other games?
And we got a bunch of consolation ladder games. We got Nyes versus Tito. We got me versus Jose.
Well,
Wins a
rubber
fade
match.
over here.
Yeah, you want to
Speak-
talk
speaking
about the
of
wins
rubber
of
match.
fate? We get our rubber match again 2 years in a row. We got
I
a rubber
couldn't
match.
believe it. I was so excited when I checked the standings and I saw that we were playing each other.
So-
I in the Discord this week, I was like, when this week is over, I'm dropping my whole bench. Like, I'm setting my lineup. I'm dropping my bench. I don't give a shit if I win. Who cares? And then I open the app and I get Jose this week, and I'm like, fuck that. I'm
Nope.
coming for him.
Game on. I went. I made moves. I picked up waivers. It's game on, motherfucker.
Oh, yeah.
So right now, for those at home, last year, me and Mahoney had the rubber match.
And the
He won the
championship.
first game. I won the second game. We ended up playing each other in the playoffs for the Super Bowl. I won that one. So I'm up 1-0. This year, I beat him the first game. He beat me the second game. So now this is our rubber match. So
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
we're either going to be 1-1 or I'm going 2 up on him.
We'll see.
Here's what we do for
wait.
both of these games that mean nothing. Between Mahoney and Jose, whoever wins should be the Kerouac commissioner, and between me and Tito, whoever wins should be the main commissioner.
Oh, there you go.
Oh,
No, thank you. No, thank you.
I'm not coming for the belt. I'm coming for your league, motherfucker.
I want to be HOA president.
Nice puts removes the trade deadline. Everybody has to trade Antonio Brown at least once per season.
Antonio Brown finally
Scored a
getting a
touchdown.
fucking touchdown. Could have
Yeah,
been
ain't that a
Gronk, but
motherfucker.
no.
Nice takes over and automatically institutes a 5 trade minimum or you're kicked out the league.
And
Hey, speaking of, that's probably where Juan went wrong with his whole fake crime. Juan spent this whole week talking in the Discord about how he came up with my punishment for when I won the Kerouac.
there's that too. Yeah.
And now I'm safe, and one of us is in the Kerouac game.
And what was his? He revealed to you what his plan was for your punishment.
He was gonna limit the number of trades I was allowed.
Right. Which
Don't you know that that's how all villains are taken down? They reveal their plan, then they go down.
Dummy.
and
Yeah.
also, who gave you the power, Juan? Absolutely no one.
Yeah. I every time he was like, I know what Mahoney's Kerouac punishment is going to be. It's like, who cares? Who cares what you think my punishment's going
I'm
to be?
not
You have no
sure.
say.
I'm not sure if he's just clueless or if he's doing a bit. But either way,
I know. Me neither. All right, so we got veteran.
You can do it though, Juan. I believe in you. Fuck
Veteran
it, man.
tag.
If you're in it, win it.
Yeah, win the Kerouac. Why not? We got Veteran Tad playing each other this week. Doesn't matter. Who cares?
Yeah.
We got Kelly and Mary playing each other this week. Mary looks like she's going to crush him, but doesn't matter because they're both safe. And then the most dramatic game of the week, in my opinion, is Juan versus Goat for the Kerouac. Like, winning the championship is wonderful, but winning the Kerouac is that's the game you really got to be worried about. Like, it's far more pressure than winning the whole championship. And look at this score. Goat projected for 112, Juan projected for 108. Like,
they're going to fucking tie.
And
So what happens if they tie?
If they tie, Goat wins because
Goat
he's
wins.
6-8.
Yeah.
Okay, so they go straight to record?
Yeah.
Yep.
We win over this.
Win.
I mean,
In like 700 messages in the group chat this week.
I mean, honestly, Goat's team hasn't been doing great the past few weeks, but this is still his game to lose.
I think so.
Yeah.
You blink, Derrick Henry scores like 50 points.
Yeah.
Yeah, no shit. Except for that one time he put up 4.
Yep.
So Zero's in the chat tonight. Thank you for joining us, Zero. And he's got an idea. Since Lee is co-manager of Goat's team, Zero says if Lee wins the Kerouac, his punishment should be having to be a regular on the show next season. And I said, no, vetoed. He said it would just
worry.
It would just
Send the picture.
It would just be an hour each week of hearing him play with toys in the background and an occasional, very audible sigh. Oh yeah, here.
Yeah.
Vetoed.
Don't you worry. I have some wonderful ideas for what will happen if Lee wins the Kerouac.
Yeah,
I'm wondering if Goat is considering starting Le'Veon Bell.
I don't know.
If Lee wins the Kerouac, his first punishment should be to rearrange his toy shelf.
You have to take it all down and put it back in the box.
He has
Tell
to
him I want the ones that are on top on the bottom, and I want the ones on the middle on top, and then the bottom in the middle.
Well, you have to remember that if Lee does lose, if he does win the Kerouac, all of his punishments have to be abstract because he's not going to follow through with a single one of them. He's going to Geno the whole thing.
We'll see. We'll see.
And for all
If
of
you
you,
recall, there was one season where somebody, Kelly, didn't follow through with his punishment, and then we changed the punishments so that they were protected from being not followed through on. So we're going to be just fine.
yeah. And for anyone suggesting punishment ideas to Mahoney, I let him do his thing. He's an evil genius. I feel like the team name thing for me went really well this season. It was a good bit. I actually got into it by the end. You know, I suggested names. So Mahoney, you got this.
Yeah, I don't come to you guys' jobs, tell you what to do. So don't worry about it.
So, what do we think? Who takes it? Who loses and is the Kerouac for 2020?
I
is
wanted
the worst?
to say,
The worst in the worst year.
yeah, I wanted to say that this was going to be something that Juan was going to be fine. Like, Juan was going to win. Juan's team has done surprisingly well. And he's got Mahomes. He's got Waller, who's been putting up some good points. I was coming into this, I was like, Juan's going to be fine. Goat's in some real trouble here because Goat's team hasn't been doing that great. But clearly, after being tied with 2 players left to go, both of those players scoring 0 points and getting bumped out with an injury, and then going to the Kerouac on a tie and a tiebreaker of record, obviously somebody wants Juan to be the Kerouac.
Yeah. He's gonna
This story is written in the stars, so it is definitely gonna be Juan.
Nothing any of us can do about it.
Yeah.
He's going to
Goat
be.
would sit his whole team, and Juan would put up 0 points for the week and would win the Kerouac.
Yeah, you know what? We might have to change it to the Juan.
Hey, listen, that might be the punishment. Who knows?
Hey, no, who knows?
That's not bad. That's not bad.
I am going to go with Juan. I think Juan. No offense to Juan. I'm not wishing this on Juan. I just feel like the choices that he's made over this season and the fate crimes that he has had put onto himself, he is going to Nordberg his way right into the Kerouac. And I think you should be proud of it. I think, because you know what? No one cares about us dickheads in the middle. All we care about is the champ and the Kerouac. So I say embrace it. Be the worst in the worst year.
Your name will be cemented in time.
Yeah. And finally, we can dispel the myth that Juan has never been in the running for the Kerouac, because it'll be right there. See it. You're it.
Yeah, I kind of see. Fuck. I'm going to jinx it. I kind of see Juan losing. He's tinkered with his lineup a little bit this week. He's not only is he going to lose, but he's going to lose. And if he would have started like Boyd or somebody else on his bench, he would have won. That's what I'm predicting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. One move.
Over tinkered.
Yeah.
Moved one too many players. I've done that.
But then again, I don't know how. I'm not saying GOAT is an absent GM. I mean, Lee definitely is. But I could definitely see GOAT being like, who cares? Who gives a fuck? Like, maybe he's not paying attention.
GOAT did play the Saints defense against Kansas City last week in our matchup, so he's a bit of an absent GM. Not that it would have mattered.
He's paying attention to his money league.
He's over there hugging his wife.
All you guys and your gumas, your fucking mistresses. All right.
Yeah. All right.
Is that it?
It's going to be exciting to hear next week who the champ is and who the Kerouac is.
And are we going to announce the punishment next week, or are we going to wait for that?
I think we can announce it next week. I think we should be able to.
Oh, I love it. Sounds great. All right. Well, that being said, we're in the 2-minute warning. So let's
2-minute warning.
Be sure to join us again next week for Pop Fantasy Football, when we will crown a new Pop Fantasy Football champion and a new Kerouac, and Mahoney will announce the last place team's punishment going into the 2021 season. Be sure to download Pop Fantasy Football and the Panels on Pages podcast on your favorite podcast app. Be sure to leave us a review, give us 5 stars, a thumbs up, whatever the hell you can do. Please do it. We appreciate it. Share it with a friend. If you got another asshole friend that likes Pop Fantasy Football, they might dig this. Who knows? Plus, it's getting down to the nitty-gritty. Be sure to smash that like button when you're on YouTube and subscribe to Panels on Pages at youtube.com/panelsonpages. Watch Pop Fantasy Football live every week and chat with us in real time. We'll be coming back next week on Wednesday because of the weird holiday schedule, so keep an eye out for that. And also listen to the Panels on Pages podcast live every Tuesday at 10 p.m. Eastern, except for this week and next week, because this week we did the commentary for the 1997 holiday horror movie Jack Frost, so that is up on YouTube and on our you can download that on your podcast app right now. And then next week we're doing Pop Jeopardy, the 2020 edition, hosted by Zero, who's in the chat tonight. So keep an eye out for that. Otherwise, we got 10 years of groundbreaking Panels on Pages video content on that YouTube. Getting comments and likes almost daily on some of our older videos, which is cool to see some of these masterpieces be discovered by a new audience in this internet age. Be sure to check out PanelsOnPages.com and buy our merch at merch.PanelsOnPages.com. We got Pop Fantasy Football merch in there, and we got a bunch of old vintage Panels on Pages designs that will be discontinued as of December 31st. So get in there and get those. And join the Pop Discord at discord.panelsonpages.com. Just type in that web address, click on it, and it's your invite to a world of amazing discussion and bullshitting and weird food habits. You won't even...
Weirdest food habits.
Weird. So weird. And you can get involved in the discussion in the Pop Fantasy Football channel. So, that being said, let's wrap it up for this week. As always, we'll leave you with a quote from the great Vince Lombardi, who Mahoney had to ask. What's the name of the guy? Who's the guy that Nice does a quote of every week? Mahoney, do you know who Vince Lombardi is?
I mean, I have heard the name Vince Lombardi. I couldn't tell you much about him, but I knew Vince Lombardi was a person. I just didn't remember which person you quoted at the end of each
Vince
episode.
Lombardi, he's the guy that invented the trade.
Yeah,
in the NFL.
my personal hero.
Tito, can you give Mahoney a quick little primer on Vince Lombardi?
He wore a stupid hat a lot, right?
Yeah, he wore a fedora and a trench coat on the sidelines.
Yeah.
He was the coach of the Green Bay Packers, won the first 2 Super Bowls, won a few NFL championships before the merger, and after that won the first 2 Super Bowls. He's the guy who the Super Bowl trophy is named after.
The Vince Lombardi Trophy.
Yeah. I mean, I know that because I'm up here in New England where the Patriots have won a whole bunch of those.
Oh, okay.
So I've heard Lombardi plenty of times. I just didn't know, I didn't know how to say Kelly's name the other day, right? Like, I'm not super paying attention to the details here.
Mahoney gives things only like 10% of his attention at any given time. But he can do that. So, that being said, we will leave you with this quote from the great Vince Lombardi, and very apropos for round 1 of the playoffs, and possibly apropos going into the championship. And the quote is, "Inches make champions." So, for Tito Cruz, Dan Mahoney, Jose Guzman, and myself, Jason Nyes, thanks for joining us for the Pop Fantasy Football Playoffs Round 1 recap. Good luck to everyone competing in this league and beyond, and we'll see you next week.
The whole thing's fucked.